So hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ames's Corner. How are you all doing out there? Now you'll remember about a year ago we took a little trip in the boat I had out back here, the big 24-foot bayliner. We took a trip down the river to this dump that's eroding into the river. All sorts of just stuff from the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, maybe even some from as early as the 40s. Just getting eroded off an old dump into the bank and into the river. It's kind of making a mess down there, but there are a lot of really neat things to find. A lot of car parts, a lot of toys, a lot of just everyday life back, you know, from my grandparents' days. So anyways, yeah, we got the electric kayak this time to take out there. You guys might remember we've had this on the channel a few times. This is the beat up old kayak I got for like 40-50 bucks off a buddy of mine. It was all cut open. And I proceeded to go on Craigslist and find a trolling motor that we mounted and cut down and made fit on the back. This actually uses electric steering, and then I have what's called a co-pilot added on, and that is a very neat piece of kit right there. What that allows me to do is control this motor with this key fob right here from very far away. I've gone from one end of the shop up at the shop. I've been on one end of the property, walked all the way to the front from the back, crossed the street and walked into the property next door up at the shop, and I was able to still control the throttle, left and right turn. So in essence, this makes this a big remote control boat that I get to ride on. And I've just had a blast with this thing. I made this thing about coming up on 5 years ago, and I've used it literally every year. I've got hours and hours and miles of just relaxation into this thing. Not a lot of work, not a lot of money into it. Every 2 years or so I put a new battery in it, and this is the battery from well, it was made 2 years ago now, but I put it in the end of last summer. I actually didn't use this until spring. But yeah, this is the battery we're running in it this year. There's the specs and stats on it. Very big battery. It's probably the biggest battery I could buy that would fit in the battery box and not completely overload the kayak. I think the weight limit on this kayak is like 350 pounds or so. I'm about 2, the battery's about 80, so we're right at the weight limit. But yeah, you got to think before you use it. So anyways, I'm gonna get this thing down the bank, and probably the worst part of me having my own private beach is this is kind of hellish to get up and down. It's a lot steeper than it looks. I know cameras don't do, you know, grades very much justice, but that's probably the worst part about enjoying the river from my yard. But you know, a lot of people pay a lot of money to be on a river to have a view like this, and you know, I don't pay a lot for that. So anyways, why don't well, I'm gonna get this thing down there and set up. Why don't you guys go inside and take a look on my tablet and see exactly where we're going, the distance we're going, where we're going. Yeah, let's go up and take a look at that. You guys watch that. I'll get this set up and we'll meet down at the bank. And sound good? Well, all right, we're in here at the trail truck repair desk. This is where I service the trail trucks and keep those running. They're actually not running at the moment, so. But anyway, yeah, where we are right now in Haverhill. Haverhill, by the way, a little geography tidbit. It is the largest city in Massachusetts, going by square mileage. It's a huge city. It takes up pretty much all into that area right there. And square mileage, we're the largest city in the state here. But anyway, I'm over here. We're going to start this voyage. Margin Street. I live somewhere in the neighborhood of there on the riverbank. We're going to be starting right from this bend here, and we're going to be going all the way through downtown, all the way under the Como Bridge, the train bridge. We're going to be going under the Groveland Bridge, going right under the Groveland Bridge. We're going to go around down by River Street and Water Street rather. We're going to come up. We're going to go around the front side of Hales Island. It's low tide right now, which is the only time we can get to the dump. Normally I would go behind Hales Island, but it gets really shallow, even too shallow for the kayak. So where we're going today is this little spot right in here. That's where that old dump is. I believe this whole area right here was all the old dump. I think maybe you would come down Yama Road and that would be in the dump area. Would have been it back in back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and then it was capped up and walled off. But because of all the erosion, the river has a lot of current, comes down here and erodes the bank, and that's why we have all that garbage and stuff just going into the river. So that's where we're going to be going, and that's the distance we have to go with the electric kayak. It's a couple of miles one way. Going down the river isn't a problem, but coming back up, because we have the current, sometimes the current can be anywhere between 5 and 8 knots, which is about the speed of the kayak. So going down isn't a problem. Coming back up is always kind of a nail biter, because this is kind of pushing the limit of what that big lead acid battery can do. If I take it easy on it, would be able to go a little further, but yeah, that's about the distance we're going to be going right there. So why don't we get back out there, throw that thing in the water, have a nice fun day. We're all set up and just about ready to go. Battery's in it. She's all good to hit the water. Let me show you guys. We got the remote. We got 10 forward speeds. And we got left and right. What more could you want? One of the things I like to do with this kayak, because it's remote control, is say you got a beach line you want to walk down. This is one of the small little beaches here on the Merrimack. You can just kick your kayak off and let it follow you down the beach. How cool is that, guys? Kill the motor to go over some weeds. I don't want to catch weeds. And we're able to just walk down the beach, and the boat will meet me where I'm going. I do like the electric kayak. Not only is it a fun little way to get around, but it's a cool little toy to play with too. And like I said, it's got pretty good range. I'm not afraid of losing it. It's actually a really nice beach when the river's clean. The river's actually in a bad state right now, not just because it's so low. It's low because this is a tidal river. It's all fresh water. Salt water ends about 10 miles or so, 8 to 10 miles downriver. So this is all fresh water, and some of these beaches are really nice. Just a lot of gunk on it right now. We'll get into that shortly. We'll touch on why this river's like it is right now, why it wasn't so bad last year when we were out here, but it's really a lot of oil in the river right now. This is one of my favorite spots usually right here. Real nice sandy beach. The sand is actually really comfortable to walk on. And the electric kayak just doing its thing. But yeah, if you're gonna build an electric kayak, I totally recommend it. They are a blast. Quiet, you don't have to paddle. And if you get the Minn Kota power drive, it'll go where you tell it. Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna hop back into it. We're gonna continue down river. We can see the Joe Comeau Bridge. We can see the train bridge, and well, you can't see it from here, but there's the Little River Tunnel, but I don't think we're going to be able to make it into the Little River Tunnel. I wanted to go in there. It's a nice shady spot, kind of spooky and all that, but the water being so low, I don't think we're going to get to it. Well, anyways, we're only a 1/16 of the way to that dump site, so we're going to hop back in the kayak, and yeah, we're going to enjoy a nice sunny day on the water. driver, closed course. Shortcut. And here we are at Dump Beach. This is the beach I've named Dump Beach. And all outward appearances doesn't look too bad. But yeah, all of this is the edge of an old garbage dump, just eroding into the river. See some weird ATV tracks. Looks like someone's been out here in a four-wheeler. Wonder who that was. But yeah. All of this area is all just a thinly covered over garbage dump. So we'll start probably at where I see the beginning of stuff coming out of the riverbank, where it's not too hard to walk over. We'll start right about here. I mean, it keeps on going up into the bank, but there's a lot of riffraff, or what's that, float sand, jet sand, whatever it is when it's on land, is all up in here. And we start coming into here, we can start seeing old Clorox bottle. A bunch of, now Haverhill is the shoe city, and one thing you find a lot of in this river is pieces of old shoes and leather. We're going to see a lot of leather. Expect to see a lot of leather today. Some stuff, new stuff that's floated in. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. You'll see this all over the riverbank, just leather scraps. Now, I don't know if anybody knows how to tan leather. There's some really nasty chemicals in leather. And this is just some nasty stuff just eroding into it. We get sheets of it down here. Just piles of it. Tons of leather in this river. I think that's what gives this river its look. What do we got here? Old inkwell cover. You'll see a lot of cool glass stuff around. It's a top to an inkwell maybe. Yeah, what do we have here? Another big piece of old leather. That's something weird. What? Some sort of resistor maybe? I would say an oven stovetop, but I don't think that's what that is. See more piles of leather right there. Let go of my camera. Sorry guys. We got an old shoe. Shoe City, USA. A lot of pottery. You're always finding a lot of china. A lot of old china. Useless now. What do we got here? I see a lot of cool stuff in this little area. Deluxe Reading, USA. Deluxe Reading. That's a toy company, isn't it? Didn't they have oh, what are they best known for? A giant playset of an aircraft carrier. Didn't they have an aircraft carrier or a battleship or something? Some big ship playset right up there with the USS Flag G.I. Joe playset. It was as big as that. That's a cool find right there, actually. I wonder what that would have looked like. I wonder if that was like a wheelbarrow or a little car or something. Anybody out there got a picture of what that might have been on? Probably a picture somewhere of something with that wheel on it. Some other stuff I see here. We all know what that is. I told you we'd find some car parts. An AC Delco plug. How's the gap? Is it running clean? Is it running lean? Rich? I think it's running a little rich. What else we got here? An old bearing. Oh, look at this. I know what this is. Anybody guess what that is? That's where the fan would have gone, and that would have pushed the coolant. That there is an automotive water pump. Wow. And some other stuff. Some sort of fitting. Well, we found our first major car part. There's your water pump. All sorts of stuff. Now every year, more and more stuff just gets eroded. So you come here every year, we'll find different things. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's that, an old razor. This used to be a case for old razors. Was a Sears, S-A-A-R-S, Sears razor case. Wonder if they're still sharp. Yeah. Yeah. We got here a piece of trim, piece of something. Thrown right into the tree. Someone lost a sandal. That's not old though. I only want to see the old garbage. Oh, we got another piece of trim here. Piece of like belt trim. Maybe that was on a boat that sank. A lot of boats sank out here too. There's a lot of... What was that? There's a lot of remnants of boats and stuff. I think my gimbal mount's getting mad at me. Law forbids sale. Okay. Big pile of old brick, dumped brick. Probably was dumped at the edge. Hey, look at the little frog. What are you doing, little froggy? Now here's where we're going to start seeing a lot of the stuff. A lot of the trash. You can just see it. What do we got here? An old tricycle. An old tricycle wheel. Look at that old drinking straw. They say drinking straws never degrade. By the look of it, that thing's probably been there 50 years. A lot of all this other stuff. Oh, look at this, more of the leather. Look at all the leather. What do we got here? A little bottle of some sort. Oh, check this out. What's that? Another inkwell? What's it say? Parker made in USA. Wonder what was in that. Oh, more shoes. Oh. More leather. Tons of leather. There's all sorts of stuff here, but we got the float, Sam. We had a real high water year this year. The spring brought a lot of water, and it brought a lot of crap like this, but you can see past it. All sorts of stuff still eroding. Look at all the plastic. Look at all the plastic. Now this is the worst kind of plastic too. This is the kind of plastic back in the day that never degrades. It never goes anywhere, and obviously it's still here. Look at the pattern. Oh, bread bags. We got Wonder Bread. Is there a date on it? Bread bag. We got some Wonder Bread. We got a bottle. We got one of those Coors stubby bottles. Tons of those Coors stubby bottles here. Oh, what's this? Piece of exhaust? Someone's tailpipe. There's a tailpipe. A piece of rocker panel trim. Looks like from Fisher. It's like Fisher Coachworks. Piece of panel trim they would have used. Oh, what a mess. There's a cool bottle. What's this? Sunrise Beverages. Sunrise Beverages. Oh, I kind of walked myself into a corner here. Ah, here we go. Now you can really get an idea of the size of what we got here going on. We can see all the broken bottles everywhere. An old Pepsi bottle. Another one of those stubby bottles. Some people said they weren't Coors bottles, but they look an awful lot like the 1936 Coors bottle to me. Oh, here's that old muffler. We saw this last year. This was here last time we were here. A couple more things. Look at all the leather. These are all punch-out pieces for soles of shoes. Got an old Goodyear tire. Just everything that would have been thrown away back in the 50s, late 50s. And all these people out enjoying the river. No idea. No idea this is even here. I'd say that's something got washed up here late. This is old garden hose. More leather. More shoe. More stuff from the shoe manufacturer that just got dumped. Looks more of those stubby bottles. Look at this stuff. Plastic just isn't going anywhere. More bottles. More of those stubbies. Vicks Formula 44. What a mess though, huh? Just an ecological disaster in slow motion, I guess you'd call this. What's that? Big sharpening stone, big grinding stone. Now what do we got here? Electric thing. Some sort of insulator piece. It looks like we got another tricycle. Another tricycle wheel. Just what a mess though, huh? Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And every year the water comes up and takes a little bit more out to the ocean. Look at this. Another piece of a tricycle. A lot of unknown stuff. What do we got here? What is that, a toilet valve? I would say that's a toilet valve. That's a piece of an old toilet. Gross. Piles of clothes, old clothes. Oh, look at this. Look at this. That would be an old Willie's Jeep toy. Definitely an old Jeep. Old plastic toy Jeep. Like a chandelier piece. There's just stuff I'm not even seeing. It's like kind of like a big Where's Waldo thing. Just trying to pick out recognizable shapes. Bri Clean, cream, Brile Clean. The modern grooming and specially formulated to give hair that natural look. Hair grease. That was big what, in the 40s, right? That was the look in the 30s and the 40s. Oh, another grinding stone. More leather. This is all leather. Clothing. Shoes. What do we got here? Smirnoff. Pierre Smirnoff. Bottle of alcohol. More tires, more leather, just tons and tons of leather. That stuff is so bad for the environment. Neat little container, or it would have been. Just stuff. You know, what's all the green algae? What do we have here? This is an old radio maybe? An old radio possibly? More tires. Another one of them stubby bottles, huh? These things are everywhere. An old tea kettle. Time for tea. Cheerio. Hip hop. Oh boy. And every year a little more gets eroded. That's what these trees are all down. Because where they were growing is now washed out. Letting all the trash out. Killing all the trees. It just keeps going, guys. It's just such a mess. What do we got here? Another toy. Oh, a metal one. I'd say this is an old excavator toy or something. Or a grader maybe. I don't see any markings other than made in USA. Would have been a cool toy to have back when they made them out of metal. Maybe some sort of insulator. The ball jar with the lid still on it. Tons of leather, more leather. A little lawn chair. It's hard to walk around on this stuff, slippery. What have we here? Some glass insulator. That's pretty cool. Now, one thing I've noticed is it seems someone's come out here and put up a bunch of markings. So I would assume somebody in the know knows about this. The authorities and powers that be are aware of it. I don't know why they aren't really coming and doing something about this. It's not like it's getting better. More tires, piles of bias ply. Piles and piles of bias ply. Tons of those bottles. There's another stubby one right there. See it? Oh, look at it. You can get right under there. This looks like this tree right here. Looks like this tree right here is going to come down real soon. One good windstorm. And all that tires and foam and leather and just junk. Boy, it was another time back then, huh? What do we got here? An old speaker or something? Looks like an old speaker. Oh yeah, an old door speaker. I thought that was a bottle opener, but it's just too big. Oh, here's something we saw last year. Here's that old radio. I think someone said it might have been to a Buick. Does that sound right? An old radio. Cool old bottle. Is that a washing machine ring? Oh, old washing machine. Boy, that is heavy. That's a heavy piece of metal right there. Ironing board pad and cover. Does anyone still use an ironing board? Look at the old advertisement. Look at the old school advertisement. What year would you say that's from? American Textile Company. What? How old is that? Another bottle. There's another one of those stubbies. Oh, here's that lawnmower we found last year. Here's the deck. What's left of a deck. Here's the blade, crankshaft, and pull start. I don't think she's going to come. I don't think we can put enough mystery oil on that to get that spinning again. Maybe we'll get it back. Well, some stuff doesn't go away. That's the problem. We got bicycle tire, an old Schwinn bicycle tire. Yep. More leather, more junk. Oh, what do we got? What's this? Oh, an old fishing lure. An old hula popper. I'd say that's probably someone fishing out here lost that. That doesn't look like it's been out here this long. Bet you it'll still catch a fish. Oh, what do we have here? Cool little... Ooh, there's more to it. Look at this. What do we got? An old toy truck. Looks like an old toy dump truck. Not much left of it. What's it got? The name on it. Can't really read it. Structo, made in USA. An old Structo dump truck. I bet you there's a picture online of this thing brand new. Is there enough of it there to pick it out? More leather, electrical conduit, just everything just got dumped. We got an old soapbox derby wheel, possibly. Oh, look at this growler. Oh, look at that, huh? That is a hell of a growler. This would have held beer. That's cool. I'm gonna put it back where I found it though. We'll put that right back where it came from. Looks like we got a pick a nut bin. Yeah, an old pick a nut bin. All the hardware, nuts and bolts would have gone in there. We got an old V-belt. God, V-belts, that's something I'm glad cars don't come with anymore. These things sucked. Multiple V-belts, having to keep them all tight in an old car. Speaking of old cars, what have we here? I see a set of headlights. Look at that, huh? Like the Mother Nature's made it all pliable. I bet you this was an old model. Or maybe not, just a general toy. Anybody recognize the car? What is that? What is that? Old wagon. Name on it. Process Plastic Company, Aurora, Illinois, USA. Process Plastic Company. That's cool. What's all of this? Big rope. Sort of rope. Oh, more junk, more garbage, stuff from decades ago. Stuff like this from an old dock. That ain't nothing old, but that all in there is. I don't know what that is, can't really reach it. Keeps going. Oh, we got an old iron skillet. An old cast iron skillet. I bet you could clean that up and still use it. That's the thing with cast iron skillets. You clean them up and get the rust off of them. You get bare metal, you can use them again. Not that I'm gonna. Oh, the place just keeps on going, but I'm getting the low battery warning on the cam here. So we're gonna have to make this quick. More bike tires, bottles, car tires. Got an old muffler clamp. What's this? I don't know what that is. Almost looked like an old spark plug. Oh, guys, look at this. Oh, come on. How cool is this? Ohio art. Come on, you guys know what this is. You guys know what this is. Oh, an original Etch-a-Sketch. Wow. How cool is that? Number 505 Etch-a-Sketch Magic Screen. How cool is that? That's going to be one of the old ones right there. That ain't going to be no made in the 80s repro. That's going to be the real deal. You never know what you're going to find out here, huh? Look at all this leather. Look at this. This is the real disaster here, in my opinion, is all this leather. Because there is just miles and miles of it out here. Tons and tons and tons. I mean, that's a whole big pile of leather right there. Tannins just leaching into the water. What we got here? An old container, still closed. I ain't gonna bother open it. We got an old deodorant bottle. Ooh, that's complete too. How cool is that? There's another one. I've actually got one of these at the house. I found one with a lid that wasn't rotted out. Oil filter base. That's where an oil filter would screw onto, I believe. And I'd say that is about it. It looks like used to be a trail here. Looks like this used to be some sort of access for down here, but other than a few other an old inner tube, an old car inner tube. Remember when cars had inner tubes? So yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Yeah, thumbs up, appreciate, comments down below. And on that note, and until next time, keep it out of the cabbage.